Good morning, you badass motherfuckers. It's the results kill excuses. The morning drinking show. I'm your host, Greg. Getting back on this motherfucker once again. We getting back on here doing what? Life. We doing life. Unfortunately, life is doing a lot of you. A lot of people a lot of people out there are getting done or getting did by this thing called life. Fuck. We've all been there. It could be a day by day thing, a week by week, month by month, years. You could look back and say, fuck, I got really did up by life a couple years back. Maybe you in the midst of some hardship, right? Some struggle. Maybe it's just mental and emotional. Most of you it's that, right? But why are you so unhappy, right? You ever ask yourself that? Why are you so unhappy, right? What do you need to be happy, right? Ask yourself that. What do you need? What do you want? What do you need, right? We got our wants and we got our needs, right? We need fresh air. We need oxygen. We need water, right? Food, that's a little bit more of a in-depth conversation because what we call food nowadays is garbage mostly, but we definitely need air, right? And we need water for sure. Fresh water, clean air. That would be a good starting point for what we need, right? But beyond that, what else do you need, right? Do you absolutely need to be loved? Do you absolutely need to be accepted by others? Do you absolutely need to be validated by people, right? Do you absolutely need a new car, a new house? Do you absolutely need a vacation? Do you absolutely need a pay raise, right? Or are these just things we want? And the more things that we want that are unfulfilled, the happier we get. Nah, the contrary is the truth, right? The more expectations, the more wants we have, the more unfulfilled needs, right? The more unhappy we get. I saw a study that says, and this seemed really low to me, 24%, right, of Americans are unhappy, right? 24% of Americans are unhappy. That does not seem like an honest deal. But here's the contrary. Check this out. How many people do you think are happy? 19. Where's these other people? What's up with the other people? Right? Because I'm pretty sure you do that math. That's less than 50%. So where's the other people? Where's the majority of people? If they're not unhappy or they're not happy, what are they? Are they fucking check the fuck out? They're done. They're done even just giving a shit. That's crazy. That's kind of a wild stat, don't you think? Right? And you got 40%, 40 plus percent of Americans are obese, right? So it's pretty interesting to think that a quarter of Americans are unhappy, less than that are happy, but where's these other people? Because you probably are in the other category, right? Which is what? What is that other category? Dead? Walking dead? Where you're just totally numb? You're numb, right? It got you. It finally got you. I love this shit. I love this shit enough to keep getting back on here, right? It's not always easy. It's not always easy. But I truly do believe that as I continue to do life every day, I just want to improve myself just a little bit every single day, you guys, a little bit, right? And here's the areas that matter to me, right? These 5 areas. It starts with my mind, right? It starts with the beneath the mind, right? The emotions, right? The energy. And that's just really all starts right here and right here in the heart. And then past that, right? What I put into my body, right? The food, the nutrition matters. How I use my body, exercise matters. And then it's setting intentions to actually learn new things, try new things, right? That's that professional personal development. And as I'm kind of healing my mind, clearing my mind, organizing my thoughts, right? Putting in clean, healthy food, using my body in a healthy way, learning new things, right? That gives me an opportunity to do what? Connect with other people and make a difference with intention. And it happens all the time, right? Anytime I go somewhere, either someone stands out to me that I need to just be a little bit different than what a lot of people would think about me, but to be extroverted, right? To be kind of engaging with people. I don't mind keeping to myself, but I do realize that there's a calling on me, and it's not just to give this message. It's literally when I'm touching the lives of people in my day to day whereabouts. And I could tell you, I had multiple credible encounters this past week. I took a, I'm gonna call it a nature therapy day. That's probably a good way to look at it. Anybody need some nature therapy? Wouldn't today be a beautiful day for you to get nature's therapy? Usually it's free, aside from if you got to get some snacks, hopefully healthy, and some gas to get there. But to go out in nature, so beautiful, so beautiful. I went on this incredible hike that I had done before in the past, and God, waterfalls galore, nature, wildflowers, river crossings, a few encounters with other people, right? And it was magical. It was sacred. It was therapeutic. It was healing to be in nature like that. And then I went and soaked at these hot springs with a cold river next door. And I met this one couple, very impressive, young married couple, young kids, right? Year and a half, 3.5 year old. And they're getting ready to move all the way from Dallas, Fort Worth area up to Southwest Colorado. And they were on sort of a reconnaissance trip to really explore job opportunities, how to make some money. And so the husband had been working labor, and this guy is like in a specialized aviation career, and he was working like building houses and shit, just trying to get the lay of the land. And the wife, she's been raising kids because he's had a pretty solid income, but the quality of life is shit. And so she got a job offer at a dental office. And so I was just really impressed by them, but they were really impressed by me because they see me down there in the river, right? Just cool as a cucumber, just hanging out. And everyone else is like, kind of the shock, right? The shock of cold water. And I'm just sitting there chilling. But I get into this hot spring with them and we just start talking, and they just were very curious as to what it takes to get there. Long story short, I invited them. I said, all right, I'm pretty warmed up. We've been in there talking for a half hour. So I said, you guys ready? You ready to go get this cold water? And they both kind of looked at each other. Oh, shit, man. Right. With a lot of regret, with a lot of hesitation. But guess what? I didn't have to pull teeth. I didn't have to twist arms. They said, all right, sure. We'll try it. And so they went in there, and the wife she's pretty solid. She got in there pretty quick. No big deal. But a guy, he was kind of a wimp. And I had to kind of coach him to say, dude, like, you got a family, man. You got a young family. They need you, bro. Like, you got to get past this mental shit. Even you listening to this, you got to get past some of your mental fucking barriers, man. We got these mental barriers that hold us back, that keep us down, right? And don't allow us to just move into the fullest version of ourselves, to truly see what's possible. Because what? We're unhappy, or our expectations of what is happiness isn't being met because what? We don't have a partner right now, because we're in a season of heartbreak and healing. And we feel that something's wrong with us, and it sucks. All of that shit sucks, but guess what? It's all has a purpose, right? All of that has a purpose in our life. It serves a purpose, and it's to serve you well. It's really a gift. it's a painful thing to go through, but I can tell you my own experience of not only having a 21-year marriage expire, that was very peaceful. That process was very, very, very peaceful, all things considered. It was a relationship that I got into after that where there was just such a deep connection, man. It was crazy. I still think about it. There was such a deep connection, and yet we just couldn't hold it together, right? There wasn't peace between us. Like it would only last for so long. And maybe some of you know what I'm talking about, that we just had to go our separate ways. And it's been in that almost a year and a half that I've been healing and processing and really just working on myself to the point to where I now know what I will accept, what I won't accept. I now know where I stand. And the crazy thing is in a season of singularity of when I'm really working on myself, I can see areas that I can improve, needs that I need to meet for myself, how I need to validate myself, how I need to accept myself, how I need to love and care for myself, all of these things. They say that if you truly desire someone special, right, an incredible partner, you need to write down everything that you desire in somebody, right? All the attributes, all the qualities, and even some of the things that you don't want in somebody, right? You need to write down at least 5 of those things, right? Write down some non-negotiables. Just kind of, you have to be very strategic with this because it's a law of attraction. And then here's the thing, you got to become that person. So here I am in the river, and this dude's like gets in, no, making weird, funny faces, like kind of a wimpy dude. And his wife is sitting there. She's cool. I'm hanging there. And I'm like, come on, man, you can do it. Good job, man. You did it for half a second. Now do it for 2. And he did it, and he kept doing it. And, he was very dramatic, but he got through it. And he actually hung in there, and he just kind of had this weird face on him, like, like just making a weird face and be very animated about the discomfort which comes in the cold water. And but here's the magic. Here's the beauty. They did it. And anytime you do something that you think's uncomfortable, because they were like, we're from Texas. We don't know. No, we can't do that. We can't, that was their attitude. We can't do it before doing it. But now that they've done it, they can never undo it, and they'll need to do it again. And I know that these folks will do it again, because here's the thing. When we went back into the hot water, right? This guy, he was healed. He was literally healed. He didn't even realize, like, he was carrying around a level of pain in his lower back from doing this physical hard labor, working on construction sites all week, to where that water, that cold water, it healed his body. Like instantaneously, he's like, this is the best I've ever felt. My back doesn't hurt anymore. And so he would have never experienced that, which that is one of the side effects, instant inflammation, instant immune boosting. But yet what? It's uncomfortable. So we can't do it. We put ourselves against it, right? And we limit ourselves. And by limiting yourself, you actually aren't keeping yourself safe. You're actually keeping yourself more what? Unhappy. Because you're not actually allowing yourself to try new things, thus have new experiences, thus really discover what you're made of and who you are. Build more self-confidence, build more esteem, build more worth, right? And just be more adventurous and interesting as a person to say, hey, yeah, I've done this. I've tried that, right? I was super scared about it, but I tried it. It wasn't the end of the world. I lived to tell about it. Didn't kill me, right? And I just know so many people, again, that stat, 24% of Americans are unhappy, 19 are happy. Where's these other people, right? Where's the other like 50+% of Americans, right? Is it neutral? Because I know most people I talk to, they're not at peace. Definitely not internally, right? Definitely not mentally. Definitely not emotionally, definitely not externally, seeing all the shit going on, all the chaos, right? So where are these other folks, Maybe you're one of them. Maybe you can explain that to me. If you're not unhappy and you're not happy, where are you? And it doesn't surprise me that those numbers are kind of low, but I'm really intrigued by the big number. But beyond the happiness is the thing that I have developed and cultivated in my own life through this season of singularity, of really just doing life with me, building a relationship with myself, loving myself, taking care of myself, meeting my needs, right? Respecting myself, learning more about myself. Like, you just can't do that. It's really hard to do it in a relationship, especially not a healthy relationship, because if you're not in a healthy relationship, and when I say healthy, most relationships, the ones I've experienced, right? It's not safe to just go and do stuff. Like to like do stuff you care about without it being like sort of a tick for tack. Like, let's just say I can talk from a guy's perspective. I know for a lot of years I stopped doing like outdoor shit, man, like going camping and fishing and all that stuff because my partner, she wasn't about it. But then when I started to do it, it seemed like it created resentment. And then I can tell you that I think we feed off of this shit with each other, so that when she would go shopping and it wasn't just one store, it'd be 5 stores and be for the whole entire day, I'd be like, well, dang, you didn't want to spend the whole day with me. You're out there shopping all day. I'm gonna go do my thing. Right. And then we start to do this stuff and we drift apart in relationships, and that's not healthy. And it takes real maturity to realize how unhealthy that is, right? It's called enmeshment. It's called codependency. And I truly believe the only way that you're going to be able to grow, right, is through some space, through some separation. Because unfortunately, I haven't seen a lot of people change within the confines of a long-term relationship. So let's say you already have a pattern of your relationship, how you fight, how you make up, if you make up, how you love, how you forgive, right? How you do house chores. There's all of these things, right? How you pay bills, right? If there's a pattern already established that isn't safe, that isn't mutual, that isn't loving, that isn't very clear to where there's not like negative energy around it, right? For people to be able to switch up in the midst of that, it's really hard. It's really hard because it's just like anything in your life. How can you break a bad habit or any pattern, right? If you have a pattern of like watching excessive amounts of TV, how could you stop doing that? Right? Is it gonna be easy to like just stop watching your favorite team, your favorite show, right? If you're just like if you have a pattern of like using excessive amounts of time on doing that, if you have a pattern of overeating, right, or overindulging, right? How do you break that pattern? And at least from my perspective, right? Having tried AA and now going on, we're in July 2nd, 22nd will be 11 years of alcohol sobriety for me. And every program of recovery, the keys to recovery is to create what? Separation and distance from the thing that you are addicted to, that you have codependency with, right? That you have addiction with. So to break that pattern in the confines of a relationship, the context of an intimate relationship, could even be a marriage, like you need separation, you need space, you need perspective, right? But in most of us, we're not going to do that. It's not safe. So then we're just going to continue to be happy or unhappy or pretend to be happy or unhappy. And that's usually what most of us look for. We wait for the holidays, right? We wait for holidays to kind of fall back in love. We wait for holidays, birthdays, right? Special occasions to sort of like rekindle the flame and the fire. And it's wild, man. Like I see so many couples. What's up with like PDA. Is PDA like off limits? Will you get arrested if you like hold hands or kiss in public? Because I don't see couples doing a lot of that right now. We had a wedding here, like a wedding rehearsal dinner here at the motel yesterday, and there's a lot of couples, and we've had a few of these events, 4 in total thus far, and it's like I'm really surprised. But even at like the hot springs and stuff, I don't really see a lot of people sharing affection with each other. And I know that's not everybody's top love language, right? Physical touch. But it does surprise me that if you're going to do life with somebody, if you're spending time and you're investing, right? I think we just get to a place where we start to take people for granted. I think that we build up resentments towards each other, and we just sort of find a place where we can make it work. And that's shitty. Tony Robbins says it best. And I've learned this through my own divorce, right? Because I used to take a lot for granted. And I've learned how not to do that. And I can almost guarantee myself that when that time comes for me to get into another serious relationship, I don't think I'm going to take it for granted. I think I'll be able to maintain consistency. And I love what Tony Robbins says. He says, if you treat them if you treat them the same way in the beginning as you do in the end, or in the end as you do in the beginning, right? Treat them the same way in the end as you do in the beginning, there won't be an end. That makes sense, right? Consistency. Like whatever that sort of ritual is, right? Of trying to win someone's love, win someone's heart, win someone's attention and affection and intimacy, right? Whatever that courtship looks like, right? How come so many people switch up when they put a ring on it, or they move in together? And it's like, I've been guilty of that. But I've also realized that I saw it the other day. It was so cute. It was yesterday. It was an older couple, probably late 60s. And they were at the motel and they were getting in the vehicle, and the older gentleman opened the door, walked around, opened the door for his wife. And I thought that was adorable, because I like doing that shit too. That matters to me. And it's little stuff like that. It's really appreciating each other's time and presence. And we take this shit for granted because we carry around a lot of unfulfilled expectations and resentment and hurt, right? And we truly don't know how to really bounce back within ourselves, because there's someone else that we're dependent upon, that we're counting on, that has caused us pain, caused us hurt. And the sad thing is, it's really not even them. Most of the time, these are triggers from old trauma. So most of the time when someone lets you down, or your mood shifts because of something that someone has done, and it could even be abusive, it could even be intentional, and definitely not acceptable. But the thing is how you respond and how you react to that behavior, that interaction with another human, is usually, as an adult, is usually not based on your current state of being. It's based on how you had to deal with that as a child when it first happened, and that seed was planted for survival and dealing with trauma. And most of us don't know how to deal with the trauma. And that's a very challenging thing. And I posted about that yesterday, about how literally 95%, I don't think I know I have a hard time realizing it. So certainly most of you are going to have a hard time realizing that 95% of your existence is running subconscious programs. That means you're not doing what you really think you're doing. You're not feeling how you really want to feel, because something else is going on that's really just from a thought, from a trigger, that then runs a program subconsciously that you're just on autopilot. That's literally what it is. You're on autopilot. And it sounds ridiculous, right? It sounds unbelievable, really. But you think about it. How many times have you ever been driving? And I do a lot of road trips where you just sort of like wake back up and you're like, wait, how did I get this far? I'm not paying attention. Like you just kind of zone out. And yet that's probably one of the clearest indicators of it. But this happens just on so many other levels when you're just sort of doing rudimentary work. If you're at your workplace and you just have like a routine of what you do every single day, Monday through Friday, from whatever time to whatever time, or whenever you work, right? To truly be conscientious, to be present in every single moment. That's the key. To really be present, to be the observer of your mind. There's a powerful book. It's called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And that was one of the first books that really just started to like open up and expand my existence, right? To truly realize that we are not our thoughts. We are not these bodies. There's something deeper. There's something infinite inside of you. And yet we get so terrestrial. We get so caught into this body, this existence, our ID, our circumstances, our situations. And it's all this mental and emotional shit that wrecks us. But it's also the mental and emotional shit that could set you up for the greatest success of your life, the greatest comeback of your life, the greatest day, the greatest year, the greatest decade of your life, regardless of where you're at. If you can start truly being more present and aligning your thoughts and taking ownership of your life, knowing that if you're not happy, right, it's your responsibility to be happy, to find your happiness, that there's something your unhappiness is usually based on what? You have put way too much expectations on another human being or another situation that you literally don't have control over. And thus it leaves you feeling unhappy and frustrated. Because if you were really putting all of your emotional, right, results on your own shoulders, right, you couldn't really be unhappy about something unless you're taking responsibility for it. And it's okay to be unhappy if something don't go your way. But you also know that, okay, it didn't go my way this time. I'm not giving up because I really want this, and I'm going to keep trying and putting in the effort and putting in the work and getting better and learning more and doing whatever it takes if it truly matters to you. But even that process is happiness because you're getting to experiment with this thing called life. And so many of us, we only want the destination. We only want the perfect relationship, the mansion, the luxury car, right? The big bank account, the fucking tropical vacation. We only want the end result, as opposed to realizing that every step of the way that leads to those things coming into reality is what it's all about. That is the journey. That is your happiness. Because the happier you are getting to where you're wanting to be, right, the more appreciative and thankful, right, you'll be when you actually get there. You won't be working out of scarcity, desperation, and then needing what? A vacation from your vacation. What's that all about? Vacations from the vacations. I mean, isn't that about overdoing it? And why do most people overdo it? Right? Because it's probably been way too long. When you could literally take micro vacations. I talk about this all the time, right? I signed up for this role here at the motel, the Mystic Santa Fe. And I knew this was a 365, 24/7 operation, which means I needed to be available, right? Not constantly working, just available to be helpful 365, 24/7 if needed or when needed. So a lot of people, when I'm not here, I'm away. That's what I have to underscore is there's a difference between me being off and me being away, right? I don't have a whole lot of days off because what does a day off mean? Would you consider having a day off, um, doing a Zoom meeting in the morning? Like you're not at work, but you're doing a Zoom meeting in the morning. You're taking calls for an hour or two in the middle of the day, and then you're answering text messages for another hour or two in the day. Is that a day off? To me, it's not. If it's business related, work related, I'm on a day away, but I still find happiness and joy in that because I can be in an incredible space that gives me some separation from the actual environment, but I'm still willing to be available, to be helpful, to be supportive, to make decisions about this place. And so that's the bridge. And I'm grateful that when I do get those days off, they're incredible. But recently I had a few days away and those were incredible as well. So it's beautiful that we can create these new lives. And that was really something that I can circle back with this couple in the hot springs in the cold water because they're trying to figure out all of what opportunities are present. They said, man, you guys got young kids. You guys should look at different opportunities here. You know, I was staying in an Airbnb and the place was not that clean. It kind of sucked. Like my place is a 5-star place. This place was probably 2 stars, but it had incredible views, incredible space, but they just need to improve it. So I even suggested this couple, I'm like, man, there's a ton, like they were complaining that there's not a lot of housing options. And I said, well, maybe your problem could be your solution to where if you guys are willing to roll up your sleeves, which it sounds like you are, you guys could start an Airbnb cleaning business, right? Which would ultimately help you to create your own schedule, keep your family together, raise your kids, find quality time, right? But you might even be able to find a place to live in that journey. Just throwing out ideas out there freely to help people along their life. That's this thing called life. Later that evening, as I'm leaving, there was this big ass, huge, like van life build next to my truck. And it made my truck look tiny, but it was pretty badass. And there was something about that. I was going to take a picture of the van just because it made my truck look so small. And I didn't though. And I was kind of tired and hungry and I was ready to take off. And sure enough, this guy from the van, he comes kind of like walking out. Hey, he wanted my attention. But again, I felt there was energy on that. And that's this stuff when you're doing life. This guy came to me and we landed up having a conversation. He was drinking a beer. He offered me a sparkling water or something. And we had this incredible conversation. He had just gone through divorce within the last few years. And we shared a nice talk about that and just doing some adventures. He does this really amazing like back country skiing in the off season where they literally hike up to 13,000 foot peaks or more and then just ski down these gullies and crazy lines. Just pretty badass. So he's just a real adventurous guy. And we just really kind of hit it off connecting. And I was able to share with him a lot of my experience through divorce, through parenting plans. And he was really inspired by that. And so again, those are just the times when it's like when you're doing life, like this is one piece, right? But the thing is, this is not where it ends. This is not just an act. I don't just get on here to just act like I am give a shit. No, I feel it's a requirement. I feel that as every single day I build myself up, improving myself little by little every single day, it is my requirement. It is a requirement. It's something I'm volunteering to do, but as a requirement of my own experience, I have to do what? Number 5, make a difference. And as making a difference, I've done everything from volunteering, picking up trash, feeding homeless, responding to natural disasters, all for free. Thus is this, right? It's trying to connect with people that I know need to give themselves an opportunity to heal, to grow, to learn new things, right? To change up patterns and habits, right? Ultimately for what? To make my life better? No, it's to improve your own life. is to say, you know what? You're missing out, man. If you're not truly living life and living it with intention and realizing that you have a lot of emotional wounds, as do I, and that if you don't, with intention, really find ways to heal and process the emotions, the pain, the heartbreak, the grief, right? The suffering, the sorrow, all of that emotional baggage that you're carrying, if you don't truly come up with an intention and a focus and a way to really release and process these feelings versus what? Going to the drugs, going to the alcohol, going to the food, going to the relationship, going to the sports, going to anything that will distract you off of your own emotional state of being, right? In order to get just a little bit of temporary relief, like you are missing out, man. You're missing out on this. The whole purpose of this life, right, is to heal, to grow, to learn new things, and then to give back to this world, right? And you get to choose whether or not that's a worthy cause for you to heal your wounds, for you to be forgiving and be forgiven. Because there's no one out there that has only been hurt and has never hurt someone else, right? Because here's a truth. Hurting people hurt people. So if you've been hurt, trust me, you've probably been a little spiky and a little cold towards others. So you might have hurt somebody else, even if you didn't realize it, because you were so focused on your own self and your own hurt, which I get. I get it, right? When we hurt, nothing else matters, right? When someone's hurt us, nothing else matters more times than not. But I know you're better than that. If you're at least hearing this message, right, I'm challenging you to give yourself some time to heal, to grow, to process some pains. A lot of times it takes writing this down. A lot of times it takes just being alone, right, in a busy fucking world where everybody wants a piece of you, right, and not in a good way, right, in a very taking way. And so for me, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the solitude. I'm grateful for the seasons of isolation I've had to endure. It's not easy, but I do know that I continue to become a better, stronger, more focused, more stable, right? More kind, more loving version of myself. And in that, I'm also a more true and authentic version of myself. And I know I piss a lot of people off because I tell them what they need to hear, not what they want to hear, right? I'm that asshole, right? That's going to tell you what the fuck you need to hear, and it's going to trigger you, and you're going to victimize yourself and turn me into your oppressor, right? Because I'm telling you some fucking truth. And I'm okay with that too, because I don't need your acceptance. I don't need you to validate me. I'm good. I'm 100% good because I know my intention's pure. I'm not trying to get something from you, right? And there's very few people out there that could say the same if they're in your life. They want something, right? They may just need your energy, right? Your attention so that they don't have to feel so alone, right? So they don't have to sit there and deal with their bullshit, right? So they can fucking vamp off you and your energy and your potential, right? But that's just holding you back and it's holding them back. You got to break free, man, right? And it's not about being happy. It's about being at peace, right? So if you can just sit there and say, I'm at peace, man. I'm really at peace, right? Not checked out, but really peace. I'm at peace with who I am. I'm at peace with what I've done. I'm at peace with what I'm accomplishing. And at peace doesn't mean that the work is done. See, that's the other thing. Some of you all will say, well, I'm at peace. I'm at peace with what my life's become, right? Because again, it's just writing it off. How can you ever be at peace with what you become when you don't know who you're to become? I don't think there's a finish line, right? I don't think that I could deem today as the day, or when I hit 11 years sober, that I get to say I'm good with where I've gotten. 11 years sober, that's good. Let's drink. Let's get drunk. It doesn't end. right? It doesn't end. It should be a constant state of curiosity and exploration of who you are and pushing you past your limits to truly understanding and reaching towards an unknown potential of what you are. Because most of us, we just like, we've already built this story about our past. And usually it's built in some mistakes, some heartbreaks, some decisions that didn't have the best outcome. Maybe it was an early success, right? Maybe you were a fucking stud or a badass woman, girl back in high school. You won all the championships. And so now shit's changed, right? So you still like, Al Bundy, 5 touchdown passes or whatever the fuck, living in the past, yesteryear, the warrior I was used to be. And it's like, you bring that with you to today, to serve yourself and to serve others in your life today. Right? And so it's a continuous process of growth and exploration and curiosity and understanding of who you could be. And every single day, I just want to be a little better than who I was yesterday. And I can be honest with myself to say, okay, I could have communicated that differently. I could have maybe said this or done that differently, that I would feel better about myself today. That don't mean I beat myself up. That don't mean I, am critical of myself to the point of like self-destruction. I used to have that pattern, right? I think that's how you get there, right? But I still can be a little hard on myself. But I know also how to be kind, loving, caring, safe, stable, because I also know that the person I want in my life, I want somebody that is emotionally healthy, emotionally secure, right? Physically healthy, right? Physically active, kind, loving, understanding, forgiving. All of these things are the kind of person that I want to spend my life with. So guess what? I need to become that, right? And as I become that, I guarantee I will attract that into my life. And if you were to truly actually be honest with yourself as to what kind of person you are right now, that's the kind of person you have in your life. And if you can sit there and say, what don't you like about your partner right now? Ooh, you'd want to burn that one up, huh? You'd want to, like, if you were to be private and write all the bad negative things that you could see in your partner, right? Your lover, right? Think about it. All the negative things that you see in your partner right now. Could you be honest with yourself? You know where I'm going? That all those things, that's you. That's in you. You are only disconnecting yourself from seeing it in them because you're externalizing it. But like attracts like. So if there's shit that's not okay that someone else is doing, right? The true and authentic version of yourself is those things. And I know you don't want to hear that, and I know you don't want to believe it, but it's true. It is the truest true that I could say on this day. Look, we in summer, 4th of July, Independence Day is coming up. Independence Day is coming up. What does that even mean? Burgers, hot dogs, and brewskis? Sunburns? Independence Day. That was that motherfuckers fought for freedom. You should be channeling that same energy to fight for your freedom, right? Free your mind from all the bullshit, all the propaganda that's out there in this world, trying to hold you back, keep you down, distract you, right? It's time to become independent mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically to truly become the best version of yourself. And the only way you're going to do that is by what? Telling that little bitch voice to shut the fuck up, right? Take total responsibility and accountability for your life. Get honest with yourself. Write this shit down. Because you know the drill. Results kill excuses. It's all on me. Greg's out.